Welcome to the Art and Science of Paraphrasing Professional Development of 2017. Here is your opportunity to learn some skills to really help your students perfect the art of paraphrasing. Here I am. I am your instructor, Dr. Dawn White. I'm the one who created the training to address lifelong skills, paraphrasing. In essence, the overall purpose of this training is to provide instructional strategies according to research studies that would impact elementary students' ability to paraphrase nonfiction texts. Using a flipped classroom model, you would have the opportunity to attend 4 webinars and then discuss the strategies as a grade level. I know you're looking forward to coming together as a group and discussing how we can create these lessons for our students. Well, let me tell you, this is a unique professional development because we're using empirical, or in other words, experimental research study results to create our lessons. You know, for years we have gone to school, study all these different research, and sometimes do we ever think about how can we turn this into a lesson? Because these skills turn out to be very effective in the study. So let's apply it in the classroom. In fact, Albert Nelson found that combining empirical research with practical application has a lasting effect on teachers changing their teaching style to positively change students' academic performance. Now, an overview of the entire professional development consists of the following. Okay, so first week, this is the week that we're in right now, paraphrasing versus plagiarism. We're going to compare and contrast both terms. The following week, week 2, vocabulary development and reading comprehension, which I know you teach that all the time. So hopefully I'm able to share with you some things that you'll be able to integrate those skills with writing to improve students' paraphrasing abilities. Week 3, summarizing and retelling. This is where you're going to get a chance to synthesize information to impact paraphrasing. And then our last week, which happens to be the last week of school, we're going to look at note-taking and report writing. We're going to capture authors' terminology and rephrase that information in our own words. So let's look at this week's study called Paraphrasing versus Plagiarism. First, the study was conducted with first-year college students, so the strategies may be too advanced for our 4th grade students. Still, we can pull out some elements conducive for elementary students. Notice that the title of the story of the study is Preventing Unintentional Plagiarism, a Method for Strengthening Paraphrasing Skills by Angela L. Walker. Now, this was a quantitative research study, and it primarily measured how students paraphrase without plagiarizing, and found that a lot of these college students did not understand the difference between the two. It was truly unintentional plagiarism. So Angela Walker decided to go ahead and do a study on this and divided them up into 2 groups of students, taking a pretest to determine their paraphrasing skills. Both groups of students were given the same information to paraphrase. However, only one group participated in paraphrasing training and the other was a control group. Now, the teaching consisted of defining paraphrasing and defining plagiarism. And they actually found these definitions that they thought would be more conducive for the students in their college class. Naturally, we can do that same thing, but make it really easy for our 4th grade students. But anyway, let's look at what they found. They provided students with concrete examples of plagiarized work along with detailed explanation. Now, can you imagine that? Able to show how students actually plagiarize someone else's work. They also practiced paraphrasing 1-paragraph segments over a course of 6 weeks. Now, that's a lot of practice. Now, amazingly, the study did not bring out, did they practice this every day or just once a week? All I know is it was in a course of 6 weeks. So next, the students learned how to take notes while reading nonfiction material to assist in paraphrasing the information. Now, normally when we think of note-taking, we think of maybe jotting down little information, but their note-taking was a little bit different. They actually created 2 columns on notebook paper. And on the left column, the students will pull out direct quotes from the paragraph or from the passage. Then on the right column, the students paraphrased that information in order to show that they were able to rewrite it in their own words. After note-taking, the students had to explain to their peers why their notes were not plagiarism, but paraphrasing, using the definitions to defend their conclusions. So that would be the key right there, teaching our students how to defend once we help them understand the differences between the two by creating a viable definition. Okay, at the end of going through the paraphrasing training, both groups took the post-test and found that paraphrasing versus plagiarism instructions impact the students' quality of writing. There were less plagiarism just by going through this study. So what should we do? How should we use this information to help us to create something for our 4th graders? So let's break down the results, shall we? Here we see that we should consider using a graphic organizer to show the difference between plagiarism and paraphrasing. You know, 4th graders really need something more visual to help them in order to recognize the similarities and the differences, compare and contrast. We need to teach the students how to create a common definition. And in fact, we can create a common definition among the grade level to explain plagiarism and paraphrasing. And then integrate paraphrasing practices while teaching social studies and science, using material from students' textbooks. So that makes it easier if we use material that's already available. And what a great way of teaching paraphrasing while we're also teaching social studies and science. Saves time, and you can also help the students improve in their comprehension skills. Okay, so where are we going to find all this information? How in the world we're going to create lessons to apply those skills? Well, look what I've got for you. I actually given you several internet links that will provide you information in writing these lessons and even examples of lessons that you may even want to use in creating your mini lesson. So I know many of you are already familiar with read, write, and think. That is something that we commonly use in, all 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade levels. Also, Brain Pop is another one that we use a lot. Brain Pop not only has videos, but also lessons for teachers on plagiarism and paraphrasing. And look, I found a link that shows the top 6 ways to avoid plagiarism. The great thing about this link, it is written for elementary students. Yay! Now I also found one where it's called Intellectual Property of Others, teaching students how to respect other people's work. What a great way of teaching how to avoid plagiarism by respecting what other people have written. There's a YouTube video. It is really funny. You have to watch it. And that way the children can even laugh about they can laugh about plagiarism and paraphrasing and get an idea of the fun parts of it. There's even a lesson on plagiarism that you can use that will help you. Now, this one actually has that example that was mentioned earlier in this webinar, that go ahead and look at a person's work and then look at how a student plagiarized that work. That would help you a lot to show that example. Now, this is one I think you're going to really like, Minds in Bloom. Here that you get a chance to teach the students the definition. And that's the key. We really need to come up with a common definition for paraphrasing and for plagiarism. This one will help you. It's step-by-step lesson. Then we also have, again, read, write, and think for paraphrasing. And look at I'mRunningOnFumes.com. That one is another funny one, but it's a great lesson on teaching kids to paraphrase. So what we're going to do with all this information? Wow, we have a lot to do, don't we? But you know what? I'm going to keep it simple and easy for you. We're going to use the Writer's Workshop model, where you teach a 10 to 15 minute mini lesson at the beginning, and then the kids all work on their own in different centers. That's what we're going to do. You just need to come up with just only one 10 to 15 minute mini lesson that addresses the skills covered. When we meet, we're going to meet no more than 30 minutes to develop this one lesson. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. I value your time. So we just get together. And I also want to encourage you. I'm just giving you the skills at this time, but feel free later on to meet together as a grade level to create more lessons if necessary. You may want to think about doing some of this even during the summer and be ready for the fall to start addressing the needs for teaching our students how to paraphrase. Okay, that's it for this webinar. Now, next Monday, you'll get the second one, which is called Vocabulary Development and Reading Comprehension. And again, that same week, we will have a group discussion to talk about how to create another mini lesson, 10 to 15 minute lesson. That's it. And I forgot to mention, when we create the lesson, be sure that we use the I do, we do, you do model. All right? Well, you have a great day. Appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. And please feel free to give me some feedback on what you thought about it when we get together this week. Bye-bye.